This video has been automatically generated from an article written by Martin Freiland. That's me on martinfreiland.com. During the World Economic Forum in Davos, several countries, except of course the so-called leftist deep state countries in Europe, signed the treaty for Trump's new Council of Peace. This immediately marked the start of the reconstruction of Gaza. Today, American envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner were already in Israel for talks with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And that is the spectacle you see on stage. What is actually happening is that you are being massively fooled with the appearance of a struggle between the Palestinians, or the original inhabitants of Palestine, and the Jews. In fact, a struggle between Shiite Islam, due to Iran's support for Hamas and Hezbollah, and the Jews. This apparent enmity is necessary to expedite processes to achieve the ultimate goal of the master script, just like the apparent enmity between Shiite and Sunni Islam. Without the installation of the Ayatollahs and the overthrow of the Shah, Israel would not have had the desired enemy for this desired sham conflict. Even Hamas was created by the CIA itself. You are essentially watching film productions. All the strife on the world stage is staged with a specific predetermined goal. You will see this when you realize that a Messiah must appear on the scene, as written in religious prophecies. It is not called Holy Scripture for nothing, because it is a script book. That Messiah must play the role of the great peacemaker, the biblical Prince of Peace and King of Kings, and thus conflicts are staged. The Gaza conflict is one such sham conflict set up by the Semitic blood brothers, the descendants of Shem, the second son of Noah, and thus of Abraham, who in turn descended from Shem. Shem being the reason we speak of Semites. The Abraham blood brothers Ishmael, the patriarch of the Muslims, and Isaac, the father of Israel and thus the patriarch of the Jews, have signed the Abraham Accords with Donald Trump, within which they share the divine blessing. That divine blessing that must be coughed up by Esau, the twin brother of Israel. Esau is also called Edom, just as Israel was once called Jacob, and Edom, according to religious doctrine, represents the West. Jacob once stole the divine blessing from his brother Esau through deceit and trickery. But that does not matter. A blessing is a blessing, and once given, it cannot be taken back. Yes, you probably do not believe it, but this is what the entire world theater revolves around. Esau, Edom the West, must dig deep into its pockets to take care of Israel and Ishmael. You will pay, and that is the reason why all this war theater is being staged worldwide, including that war theater in Ukraine. The entire game is coordinated by the Abraham blood brothers, the Jews and the Muslims together. They are playing under the Abraham Accords. It is no coincidence that they are all Jewish main actors, including Zelensky and Putin, not officially mentioned, of course. And they have the full media, alternative media, social media, and all politicians from all sides of the spectrum in their pocket. This allows them to stage their deceit and deception through Hollywood war shows in depleted areas. Or did you think that Poland was so full of Ukrainian men of fighting age because they managed to escape in time? No, refugee flows are initiated at the beginning of a war movie, after which the armies go on exercises and are allowed to shoot down buildings and equipment. Everything you see is theater and a money-sucking machine. Hundreds of billions supposedly go to the military-industrial complex. But in reality, they flow to Israel and Ishmael. They then build their magnificent megacities, like in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. My claim is that the residents of Gaza were already moved to the United Arab Emirates, Dubai and Abu Dhabi, during the Corona PSYOP, and that the 2022 World Cup in Qatar was the grand finale of that major population shift. While everyone was in lockdown at home, there were enough pilots available to realize the large-scale migration. It is no coincidence that Palestine was honored as the 33rd country at that World Cup, and the Palestinian flag was seen everywhere. even though Palestine did not have a soccer team. And it is no coincidence that Donald Trump is close friends with FIFA director Infantino. What is in the name? The Abraham Accords were supposedly signed by Jared Kushner during Trump's first term as president. But in 2000, Bill Clinton already received PLO leader Yasser Arafat and the then Israeli president Ehud Barak at Camp David. This is not a plan from a few years ago. This is the master script, and all the conflicts we have ever seen worldwide have been film productions for the purpose of positioning the pawns on the chessboard. In the so-called First World War, the land in Palestine was already reserved for the Jews, and during the Second World War film production, Adolf was allowed to provide the cover for the large-scale population shift that was carried out at the time. It is no coincidence that the State of Israel was established in 1948. It is all scripted, and those who can see through all the smokescreens of official historical propaganda can see it. That is the biggest problem. You can stage a fire in Utrecht or an attack in Paris and no one realizes it is a film production hoax, let alone when it comes to major storylines like a war or even a world war. Back then, people got all their truth from newspapers, radio, theaters, and cinemas. Now we get our truth from social media, TV, radio, and so on. The arsenal of perception management has not only become much larger, we also have half a society full of unofficial collaborators who get paid to manage sentiment. And we have bots, AI and AI agents that are even better at applying micromanagement and mass manipulation. If the majority back then did not see that they were being fooled, what does that mean with the current technological state of affairs and real-time monitoring via sensors everywhere? The German population said after the Second World War hoax that they did not know what was going on. That is very likely true. Everything is lied about and propagandized. This applies not only to history but also to the here and now. What is important is that you start recognizing the script. What follows is that you will begin to see the large-scale deceit and trickery. Gaza is a film production. Ukraine is a film production. All wars to date have been film productions. And those so-called veterans keep quiet because they are sipping cocktails. Lifetime pension guarantee sometimes already at a very young age. Everything is fake. Adam is being stripped bare through the war illusion and through inflation. And that money flows directly to Ishmael and Israel. Hence the mega construction projects that could be completed in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, the new Palestine, where the residents of Gaza have long been safe and sound, and hence why now the Gaza Strip can be transformed into something similar. No one has died. The only thing that sometimes happens is drama for the cameras, in which both blood brothers like to play their roles. They gladly go to the film set to perform their drama, paid and all, because they know that their livelihood is secured for the rest of their lives. They never have to work again and can live in luxury for the rest of their lives because you pay. Okay, that's it again. Share and like this video, and until next time.